Are you having a hard time figuring out what to get Dad for Father's Day? You should check out Row 1 Brand's Vintage Pictorum Gallery. They have America's best sports art. With over 7,200 historic sports prints, you're assured to find something unique for Dad this Father's Day. Instead of a boring old tie, get him a historic baseball photo taken by Henry High Sandham at the historic Polo Grounds Stadium in New York City during the 1894 Temple Cup. Or, if he's an NFL buff, check out the 1963 vintage NFL poster. These are so good looking that you'll be amazed how they turn out. Shop now at sportshistorynetwork.com/row1 and save 15% off your order.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hi folks, welcome again to another episode of the Pigskin Past. I'm your host, Joe Zagorski, and seemingly every year in pro football, or at least every few years, a couple of teams that meet each other in the regular season will then sometimes go on to meet each other again in the playoffs. Now, in 1973, that occurrence happened 3 times in those playoffs of the 73 era. The first of those 3 segments of this story begins with the incumbent world champions at the beginning of the 73 season, the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins were fresh off of their historic perfect season from the previous year, and all the talk around the league wondered just how long Miami would keep their winning streak going. As it turned out, in the second week of the 73 season, the Dolphins discovered the answer to that question. The Oakland Raiders upended Miami 12-7 thanks to the place-kicking of old pro George Blanda, who booted 4 field goals for Oakland's points. The Raiders' defense did yeoman's work on that day, limiting the Dolphins to just 105 total rushing yards on 24 carries. Typically, Larry Zonka would get that on his own. They also limited Miami quarterback Bob Griese to just 90 total passing yards, again below his average. Now, the game was ironically played at the University of California's Memorial Stadium because the Oakland A's baseball team was using the Oakland Coliseum for their World Series game versus the New York Mets on the same day. Now, going into that game of the Raiders and the Dolphins had won 18 straight games. But the Raiders put an end to that, and a huge and partisan Oakland crowd went into a frenzy knowing that their team had just notched a bit of pro football history on that day. Their team had ended a world champion's winning streak. Don Shula said after the game that it has been a long time since I've had to talk about losing. And Larry Zonka said after the game he was kind of humble by stating that we were the champions going into the game, but the Raiders looked like they were champions coming out of it. Now, fast forward to the AFC Championship game on December 30th for that same 1973 season. The venue was different. It was at Miami's Orange Bowl Stadium, and both the Raiders and the Dolphins had won their division titles. They had also both won their first-round divisional playoff games. But now they would meet each other one more time to decide who would represent the AFC in Super Bowl VIII. Despite losing to the Raiders early in the regular season, Miami was picked by the odds makers to be the favorite to win the 73 AFC title game. In their first meeting, Oakland's defense effectively stunted the Dolphins' running attack. Well, that didn't happen the second time around. In fact, Miami's running backs accrued a total of, get this, 266 ground yards in that AFC Championship game. They had success with virtually every type of running play: sweeps, draws, off-tackle plays, quarterback scrambles, you name it. The Raiders just did not have an answer to stopping guys like Zonka, Mercury Morris, Jim Kick, and Bob Griese. Now, the Dolphins' ground game was so effective that Griese only threw an incredible 6 passes all game long, and he only completed 3 of those. Don Shula did not need his quarterback to throw the ball. They were just having too much success running the ball against the Raiders. Shula later said after that game that he wasn't surprised by the success of the running game. He felt that they had a good one and they wanted to go out and establish it. Well, that they did. Now, Miami's defense played the way that they had played all throughout 1973. They were not spectacular in the AFC title game, but they were steady. They permitted Oakland to have a few decent drives in the game, but they rarely permitted them to have any tangible moments of success. Oakland's only touchdown in the game came on a 25-yard pass from Kent Stabler to Mike Ciani, and that was only achieved with the help of a rare mix-up in the Dolphins secondary. So there you have it. The Dolphins prevailed in the second winner-take-all meeting 27-10. They had managed to avenge their earlier loss to the Raiders, thereby proving to at least some of their critics that the results of some regular season games can be exaggerated. Thanks again for listening to this edition of the Pigskin Past. Look forward to chatting with you again next time. Joe Zagorski signing out.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
The 2021 Professional Football Researchers Association Convention will be held at the Gold Jacket Lounge at the Pro Football Hall of Fame during the final weekend of June. Convention speakers will celebrate the 100th anniversary of the founding of the NFL. The fee for the convention is $50 for members and $100 for non-members. The fee includes admission to the convention and Pro Football Hall of Fame, meals on Friday evening and Saturday afternoon, and free parking. All convention activities are subject to COVID-19 protocols. For more details, click on the 2021 PFRA convention link at profootballresearchers.org.
We here at the Sports History Network proudly partner with 26 podcasts, all revolving around the history of sports. But did you know that many of our hosts were sports history authors way before they started their shows? It's true. We've got Joe Ziemba, host of When Football Was Football, Joe Zagorski, host of Pro Football in the 1970s, Mark Morthier, host of Yesterday Sports, Tommy Phillips, host of Lombardi Memories, and Scott Adamson, co-host of From the 55-Yard Line. All these authors have many books for you to choose from. To check them out, go to our website at sportshistorynetwork.com/sportshistorybooks. Pick up your copy today. Soundtrack provided by Kevin MacLeod of filmmusic.io.